All right, hey Twitter. Looks like we're up on LinkedIn, Twitch, and YouTube. Good morning, everyone. +7, +8, +9 GMT. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Everyone in Western Australia, Indonesia, Philippines, Japan, China. Good morning. HubSpot Community Mornings here with, this is Grant, and we'll be going over a couple questions I answered this morning for you. And so what I do is go over here to community.hubspot.com, and you can ask any question here. When I scroll down to the bottom, what I like to do is read through some of these posts, and we can see the CRM and Sales Hub. We can see Marketing Hub questions. And then I always like to jump over to Developers Hub as well and answer questions that come up. So let's dive in. I have 3 questions for you, like I said. This is a Sales Hub tool question. Reporting on sales goals per line item versus total line item revenue. So there's this interesting, let's see, there's an image that she shared where this line item here, sponsorship, what she's wanting to do is show a goal. And right now what you'd see on a line item would be an amount, basically. And you could report, this report that she's built here would be on some, you could total up the amount of revenue that's been put into that item. The question gets to, though, when you have a goal for an individual line item across reps, how do you represent that? And so she made a, what did she say here? Made a custom product property, and that's this 2020 sales goals. And then she just puts in the goal and whatever she set it to maximum. And so whatever that top one is then will show up here. And now she's able to do this reporting off of maybe what came through against that goal. And so it's just kind of a question about, is there a better way to do that and represent it? And ultimately, I liked that way. So ultimately, this custom product property looks nice. And it's definitely a hack to get that number in there and then report off of it. And so the clear problem that I see going on is getting goals on products and not on deals or specific to the reps, right? Because those sales goals are already happening. You can set those goals here on deals and reps. She was looking for individual products goals. And so I suggested here, you can keep the property on the line item and just use that maximum as a hack, because that property on the line item shows it and it works, and there's a number in there you can report on and kind of bounce off of. Another way to go about it might be to create a custom object, and then you can bring in those pieces of data that you want. And the line item goal would be an independent property on that custom object. And that independent property is now something you can, again, get all the revenue from the line item and sum and total that up and then compare. So that custom object would allow you to bring in the data from contacts or the line items and do some calculation on it, bring that in the custom object, and then you can report on that custom object. There's a weird thing. I kind of dove into the forecasting tool, and maybe using the forecasting tool, I'll show you here. Forecasting tool categories. What the categories allow you to do, let's see, when you set up, here's the forecasting categories. It allows you to set up those categories based on qualifiers within the stages of a pipeline. And so what she'd have to do basically is, these are set, the categories. And so what happens is set up a pipeline maybe based on the amount raised, right? Or the percentage to the goal. And so these individual stages in that pipeline would then relate to the forecast categories. And then you could have the property on the deal be how much is raised. And the only line item on every deal can be that individual line item. And so that's kind of what I explained here. And it's just, I don't like it. Though if she started to think about that forecast tool, I wanted to have a possible way. It's just, it feels a little heavy and clunky, and I don't suggest it. So for that one, it's keeping the line item custom property, or going ahead and creating a custom object. So that would be how we'd solve the goal on an individual line item. Question 2, this was multiple line items in the product library. And so this question really has a limitation on the free version. And so a fun little hack that you can do when you are creating line items in the free version, what you have to do is you have to create them in a quote. And so what I shared here is when you make a quote, you can add line items and then just save that quote with the line items you want that you put in. Save it as a draft and say you make 2 or 3 quotes with different line item sets. Then when you want to go ahead and make that, or you want a quote with those line items on it, just clone that quote and it'll have the line items on it, and then finish it and send it to your customer. So that's what I've said here. A little hack would be to draft. Go ahead and just draft those quotes, and then you can clone them, finish making the quote, send it on, and you still have that draft. And that'd be a way to make a library, a product library in the free version. So if you really want to go ahead and make a library, you'd have to upgrade, get a sales professional seat, and link to here over to creating products over in the professional side. But that's a fun little hack for those of you who are on the free version and want to make line items but don't have the ability to obviously make that product library. Go ahead and just make a quote, save it as a draft, and then you can clone that quote over and over again with those line items already in there. And then question 3, using Calendly in HubSpot. This was an interesting question because it's not a no, it's more of a yes, and it's just a how. So Calendly in HubSpot, there's an integration. So this question, let's clarify here. Sandy wanted to put Calendly in HubSpot. She has 2 users in HubSpot, and I believe she's using the free as well. Saying on their end for the years. Been a Calendly user, so I'd like to try this. All right, so she's wanting to do the embed process. And so what I really shared here is there is a Calendly integration, and Calendly even has its own link on its site showing you that it can do it and the benefits. Similarly, HubSpot has the same thing. And so you can see, again, in the ecosystem, in incognito, so you can see in the ecosystem.hubspot, you can always see the marketplace apps. HubSpot has the Calendly integration as well. There's a meeting link that you can then schedule the meeting. You can even open it up in workflows, which I think is great. Any of the information coming through on the request. And then in activity for the contact, you can see the activity happening for those meetings. So it's sharing the data that they want, that Cindy wants here. In order to do the embed, you have to upgrade. So you'll have to upgrade to some sort of subscription. Similarly with Calendly, you have to have the professional plan in order to do that. And so I was guessing that the embed is going on a website, and the best place really to do that is for them to make a scheduling page in HubSpot and then embed that scheduling page onto their website that they've made in HubSpot. The the meeting module is only referencing one of these scheduling pages. So once you have that calendar set up on the back end, this little module right here, this is just a website template editor. You can drag this meetings module onto your website, and you're linking it to one of those scheduling forms you've already made. So that would be the way to do it without having to upgrade Calendly nor HubSpot. And that's it. Yeah. So good morning. Hope you have a great day. And we'll see you tomorrow morning.